Okay, hello and welcome everyone, and welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Do apologize for a few technical issues that we had just right now in the beginning of the video. So yep, I hope you can hear me okay. I think everything's running smoothly. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's afternoon session where we're gonna have a look at a few instruments, a few setups. I believe are quite interesting right now. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then guys, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the DXY. Now looking at this index here, you can see that since the end of February, well, initially actually the first 8 days of March, the DXY had a nice fantastic rally here to the upside, especially here on the 7th of March, where it spiked higher and managed to reach one of our key areas of resistance near the 97.70 level. Now I believe I was talking about some of these in one of my previous videos, and basically since the 7th of March, it kind of started sliding here, started correcting to the downside. Now if we look at this chart here, you can see that still overall it's still above its short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 31st of January. So we're gonna keep an eye on that one. But basically what else you could look at here is at this little short-term downside resistance line, so which continues to kind of play out nicely. So you can see if we connect the spike here as well, then yep, we could see that yes, the index is still has maybe a bit of room here to the upside, maybe even actually towards this 50 EMA shown here as the red line. And if it fails to drive above this downside resistance line, then to be honest, it would be quite perfect to see this one traveling back down again, maybe even actually retesting this this upside support line. So that's why, guys, keep an eye on this this potential idea here, where we could then, of course, we see a further acceleration here to the upside, but only up until this little downside resistance line. If, of course, that remains intact, we could see the bears re-entering here and potentially driving this one lower, maybe even back down towards, of course, the 96.40, which acted as a very nice area of support back yesterday. But if that fails to withhold again, then yep, this upside support line could come into play. So for now, guys, this is the idea for now, and as long as we remain below this downside resistance line. But if this gets broken and if we see the price traveling higher here, now in order to get slightly more comfortable with higher areas, we would like to see a nice good push initially above the 97 level. Of course, then the next barrier could be around here, the 97.10. but if both of them get broken, then, or should I say the last one gets broken, then yep, this could potentially open the path back up here towards the 97.55 or even higher. But for now, this is the situation. We're still below this little short-term downside resistance line. Keep your eyes on this one, and if it fails to drive above it, then yep, we could see another leg of selling here. Platinum, I wanted to quickly just kind of update you on what's happening here. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but basically I was talking about this one yesterday, and or actually throughout this whole week. Also, I was talking about this basically potential break here below the 831 level. So you can see that we had a nice drop here today. It failed to withhold, and the commodity, the precious metal, managed to reach the 821 level. So basically, this is, of course, what we're going to keep an eye on. If this continues to travel lower, if this breaks below the 821 zone, now this is where you should remain cautious and careful, because we could maybe see a slide lower here to back towards the 808 zone, approximately there, which recently kind of acted as a very good area of support, or should I say, in other words, last week acted as a very good area of support. But slightly below that, we do have this tentative upside support line, even though we did have a bit of a breakout here, but still this line continues to attract our attention, let's put it that way. And if we see a drop below the 808 level, of course the next potential target could be around the 800 level, the psychological 800. So in a way, that's the idea for now. If of course this travels back above the 831 level and closes the daily candle above that level, then yep, keep an eye on the 841. A nice good push above that could increase the chances for platinum to travel back towards the psychological 850 level, and maybe a push back above it could be possible as well. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. First, let's see what he wants to do with the 831 level on the upside here and the 821 level on the downside. EURCAD. Now I wanted to just kind of quickly mention this here. Basically, still overall kind of since its reversal here back on the 24th of February, reversal to the upside, of course, it continues to travel higher. The only problem is that it failed to, it sold off here around last week, around the middle of last week, and it kind of got back into this little range here between the 1.5040 level on the downside and the 1.5120 level on the upside. So these are the levels that we're going to be keeping a close eye on, because if this decides to drop below the 1.5040 zone, certainly this we will then monitor this tentative upside support line. But if that fails to withhold, then yep, this could turn out to be quite ugly for EURCAD, and we could see a slide lower, maybe even actually going all the way here below the psychological 150 level towards the 149.35, or even slightly lower. As you can see, we do have some good potential areas of support here, especially the 149.15, which acted as a very nice area of support here back on the 13th of February and also on the 1st of March. But again, I'll repeat myself, in order to consider these levels, we would like to see, of course, initially a drop below the 150.40 level, and then of course a violation of this short-term tentative upside support line. So keep your eyes on this one, very interesting one. And as you probably understood by looking at this chart, the upside for us is we will consider the upside only if we see a pop above the 150.120 zone. As you can see how well this played out as a strong area of resistance back here in the past. Excuse me. So basically a nice good move above this level could open the path towards the 151.85 or even higher. So but for now, until the rate is in this little range, we're just going to continue being neutral and observing the price action. EURNZD now, and this is an idea that we've posted here today on TradingView. Basically, you can see that today it managed to travel towards its R2, which is around the 166 zone. So it managed to reach the 166, but kind of failed to drive above it. So in a way, this is going to be our gateway towards slightly higher areas. If we do get a nice push above the 166 zone, certainly it could open the path towards these higher areas. Initially, we will target this 200 EMA, but this could just be seen as a little obstacle. The main target for us would be this little area of resistance around the 167.30. As you can see how well this played out previously, it even actually acted as a good area of support as well here back on the 10th of February. So that's why, guys, this area around this 167.30, this could be our next target if we get a nice good push above the 166 level. If until then we're just going to remain neutral and continue watching this, because for us, let's say even to consider the downside, we would like to see a drop below the 165 level. So the 1.65 could bring these lower levels here back on our radar. Of course, a drop below that level, then yep, then we will target the 164. 25 or even the 164.05. So for now, of course, it's looking more bullish than bearish, but again, for a better confirmation of the upside, we would like to see a nice good push above the 166 level. So in a way, what we could see here is maybe a bit of a retracement back down here, and then another let's say if it fails to travel below the 50 EMA or even the 21 EMA, if it fails to travel below there, then we could see the bulls jumping in here potentially and lifting this pair again. So for now, keep your eyes on the price action. GBPCHF, a very interesting one. Certainly the GBP, the British currency today is slightly on the weaker side, but still holding up. Of course, after yesterday's rally here that we saw, the pair failed to get towards the Monday's highs, which were near the 134.25 level. So it fell shy of just a few pips from hitting that, and then reversed back down. So currently you can see it is trading below the pivot. Now, given the madness that we saw here on this pair, and actually on some other GBP pairs, there is a possibility to see a slide lower. The only problem with this possibility is the fact that we do have a little tentative upside support line here. So in a way, if we see a slide lower, we could see a hit of this upside support line, and if it fails to break below, then we could see the bulls jumping in back into this one and pushing the pair higher. The only problem is, of course, as always, is the UK Parliament, which and of course the UK political arena, which kind of messes up this whole and all the whole technical picture here on this pair. And you probably, if you like to trade if you like to trade the GBP, then yep, you probably were struggling this week a little bit, but of course, for now, guys, we can only go from what we see right now. We do have the final vote later on tonight, so keep your eyes on that one, keep your eyes on the volatility as well, and let's see how this plays out, because if this starts dropping lower, and if it drops below the 132.10 level, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for the bears, as it could open the path towards the 131.26 area, which previously acted as a good area of support here back on Tuesday and also on the 5th of March. So we're just gonna go step by step, and for the downside, this is what we're going to be looking at. The 132.10 level, a nice good drop below this could lead towards further declines, but of course, before we can consider this level, we need to see a drop below the 132.85, where you can see that the pair is currently balancing at. If it fails to drive below this, then we could see actually maybe a reversal back to the upside. The only thing is that for us to get more comfortable with with the upside here, we would like to see a nice good push above the 133.30 level, and only then we will target these recent highs here near the 134.25 level. So in a way, try to play it safe, guys. In terms of the upside here, from the very short-term perspective, the 133.30 level, I do apologize, 133.30 level, that's what we're keeping an eye on in terms of the upside. For the downside, where, well, it's like I said initially, of course, is the 132.85, but again, this upside support line, that's what we're going to be keeping a close eye on as well, because if it continues to hold, then we could see a reversal and a push back up again. If it breaks, we will look at this 132.10 zone as the confirmation for a further decline lower. GBP Yen, last pair for this session. You can see that today tried to push higher. It managed to reach its level right here at around 148.85 zone. But since then kind of reversed back down and traveled lower, but still remains above its pivot. So in a way, what we're going to do here is, of course, we're going to keep an eye on the pivot today. We're also going to keep an eye on this 147.8 147.30 level, which kind of acted as a very good area of resistance here back on Tuesday, and sorry, on Monday as well, and on Tuesday as well, and also on the 7th of March. So this time it was going to take the role of support, and if we do get a break below this, then yep, further declines could be possible, where we could see a move back down towards, initially we will look at this little target here. Let me just quickly mark that on our charts. This little area around here, around the 146.30, but if that gets broken, then of course further declines could be possible, and we could maybe even go towards the this upside support line that has been running here from the lows of the 15th of January for a quick test. But again, for now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see how this is going to play out later on today during the or should I say after the vote, and let's see which way is it going to break on in terms of the upside here. This is what we're keeping a close eye on, the 148.30. A nice good pop above this level could lead towards the 149.50 or even 70. So keep your eyes on these, and like I say, for now, don't rush into it. Let's get that confirmation break first. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and I do apologize for a little technical issue in the beginning of the video, but I hope you found this video useful. And if you want to join me tomorrow morning at my Trader's Espresso, and that's 7 o'clock GMT time. But as always, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.